Okay, so right now I'm sitting here with Anand Rudra.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you. And at the moment we are in Malmö and Malmö TantraFestival. So Anand is one of the facilitators and he work a lot with prana and lifeforce. And we had you facilitate a beautiful breathing
Yes.
session this morning. So I want you to introduce yourself a little bit if you want to.
Well, myself, I'm from Mexico. I have been doing Tantra and sharing Tantra for the more than 20 years already, all the time in Europe, but also South Africa, Indonesia, Latin America, and also my country. I have specialized in what is called tantrakaula. There's 5 dimensions around Tantra, what is called prana, or breath working, but also prana breath working, and then ritualism, yoga, meditation, and sacred sexuality. Those 5 sacred tools, they do the Tantra Kaula. And I have tried to specialize in each one of the disciplines that makes the Tantra Kaula. Tantra Kaula is one of the most ancestral schools that there are in the history of Tantra after Svajara Yoga. That it was the main source of Tantra long, long time ago in the Sumerian times.
Can you say something shortly more about that, the history about it?
Yes, for me, was really, I was academic. I was a teacher, an investigator, and I like to go to the source when I'm trying to share something. Sometimes there's no history about what is the origins and the roots of Tantra. There's 2 theses from the University of Hamburg in where they investigate what was really the root of what Tantra was. One of the theses applied that the main source of Tantra was with the Svajara Yoga, that it was a kind of practice in which they use the life force energy as a way to discover how your emotions they move, how you control your inner patterns in your endocrinal system, and how those things related to the body. Yog, as you know, means union. Svajara is going to Svadhisthana, that is the psychocenter of energy of sex. And this practice was of the main sources of where Tantra came into India and to be becoming what is it right now. And we are talking about 10,000 years old.
Thank you. So, what is Tantra for you?
You were just talking about it with another colleague, and sometimes it's very difficult to explain what Tantra is to people because Tantra comes from 2 words that is called Tanoti and Tayatri. And Tanoti and Tayatri means expansion and liberation. When you go to an experience that give you an expansion and liberation, those 2 words, they mean a lot, because you can expand energy, you can expand intuition, you can expand your health. But also you can liberate emotions, you can liberate yourself psycho-emotional, you can liberate yourself energetical wise. To explain Tantra for me, after so many years of doing this, I can tell you that for me it's a life living experience that gives you an inner knowledge that you didn't have. And it brings you to a spiritual path. Not means as a religious thing, is to know who you are and to know who you were after this experience. It can be very brief or can be long.
What do you mean with this experience?
When I say experiences, also the University of Hamburg, and in conjunction with the University of Stanford, They make a classification of 2,400 different kinds of Tantra 12 years ago. Then when we talk about an experience, it can be what we are doing right now. This is a beautiful experience. We are talking. But if I'm not in awareness that with you and we are broadcasting to some people, then it doesn't become an experience. I'm not in awareness, therefore I'm not in consciousness of it. But when you have an experience that brings you something, a knowledge, and it brings you a different movement in your mind, but a different movement in your body and your energy and your emotions, then it becomes an experience. Something that moves you out of the comfort zone, something that moves you out of normality.
Mm.
That will be for me an experience.
Mm. Mm. Thank you. So, who is Anand? Like a short.
Sure. Well, sometimes when we choose or somebody chooses a spiritual name for us, we don't know the implications of the spiritual name. Anand is one name of Shiva, and is means bliss. But I don't know if I'm in bliss or not. Anand is a person that is trying to teach other people to become a better person. Anand is a person that is trying to discover who he is through sharing what he has.
Mm.
And I'm a teachers of teachers. That was I discovered like 15 years ago. That all the things, all the tools, all the structures that I have encountered with and I share is in order to awake teachers and say to the people, you know, you are a teacher.
Mm.
You are not in the practicing.
Deep breath.
Deep breath.
Yeah. So did this journey start for you?
It was,
If you want to share,
yes,
because
yes, I can share.
yeah.
You know, because most of the times we think that Tantra came to my world. I don't know, but there were different ways, different paths that they were coming around Tantra, and I didn't know that was Tantra. Before I encountered Tantra, I studied symbology and ritualism in the university in relation to politics, believe it or not.
Mm.
I'm an international relation lawyer. I'm a specialist in international security. Um, it came to my path when I was working for the government in Mexico.
Mm.
I was government director in one municipality over there in Mexico. And believe it or not, I used to carry guns on my back,
Mm.
and I have two bodyguards.
Mm.
And it came to my mind Tantra when I was supporting the inauguration of one Tibetan stupa in the municipality where I was working. And part of the inauguration ceremony was the 9 rounds exercise that they do by Rayana Tantra. And I was doing it because I had to do it. Everybody was doing it, you know, just we were doing Kalapavati, that is exhalation through the nostrils with one hand and another hand. And it was like 6 minutes meditation, just exhaling to one nostril, exhaling to the other nostril. And they said, we're doing this because we wanted to ignite your life and ignite the life connecting to the building. I didn't know what they were saying. I
Mm.
just, you know, it was a bureaucratic act. And then when the monk says, inhale, and he ring the bell, I lost my consciousness. And I lost my consciousness over 7 minutes. I didn't know where I was when I woke up. But for certainly, my back and my stress were gone. I was completely like somebody was reset my mind. I was seeing clear light, and I was hearing, and all my senses were awakened in a different, completely way. I used to go 2 times per week to the masseur to get rid out of the stress. And after that experience, completely I say, I need to know more about this. I need to investigate what happened to me. I was just doing an inhalation, an exhalation. I was not doing nothing else. And then after that, it was like freshly new. My life completely changed. And then that's where my hobby started, because it was a hobby, just to investigate and to be finding out what Tantra was. And in those times, it was white Tantra. It was something that it was not about sexual energy. It was nothing. I didn't know what Tantra was exactly, to be honest.
So for most of us, it's an experience.
Yes, exactly.
And you have to explore.
Yes.
So it's much more about the experience of the body and beyond the body, and go like from the mind.
Yes, exactly. Because when you have this experience in Tantra, is transversal. That means that it's in your body, it's emotionally, it's energetical, it's psychological, but also something changed completely when you have a Tantra experience, because it's transversal, it's in all the levels of your existence. And that's why it's so powerful, Tantra.
Yeah. So you work a lot with prana
Yes.
or life force. Can you say something more about that, and how do you work with that, and what is that for you?
For me, prana is everything. Um, but what I would like to say to the people that are seeing us or hearing us, that most of the times when we say pranayam, we think about breath work. Pranayam is the connection to the life force in all the senses, meaning that when you are conscious that you are connecting to a source of life, that's a prana. When you starting to handle that prana, that energy is starting to becoming something else. Prana has 4 different keys: time, space, life force energy, and consciousness. These 4 elements allow that the energy that you're capturing by your senses becomes something else, not anymore energy. It's like soul, food to your soul. It's food to your body. It's completely different. You embody it, that thing that is coming to you in light, in hearing, in touching, in sensing. And once you started to move prana in that dimension, time and space, and to be conscious about it, that what you are having in your body, projecting or acquiring is pranic, then the game changes. As you saw in Tantra, I use a lot in kaula, we use a lot of breath work, but also the consciousness of all the dimensions of energy. You know, we were talking in the morning that we were in Malmö. I don't know if it's spelled good, but I'm trying. Malmö is connected to the sea, but also Malmö is connected to another country. Malmö is connected with a bridge, but also Malmö has a lot of history regarding to be a beacon. You know, and then it has a lot of dimension of second chakra energy. That means that it's a lot of movement, but also Malmö brings groundedness. And then to feel that is pranic. The more you touch in prana, the more you get into the prana, you get a lot of information from the people and from the experience. It's like you are plugged into the source, you know?
So can you say something more about that? Is it just happen? Do you think it's just happen, or because for me it's also Tantra is a lot about not doing, more like allowing, but you can also do a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? It's both about doing, but also not doing.
Allow it to happen.
allow it to happen.
Yeah, for me, when there's an experience, really a deep experience, is when you are not expecting the experience, when you are just fluxing with the thing. Um, I believe that there's two ways to experience Tantra, one with technology and without, just to let it go into the experience. You can go with the technology and then embody the technology and allow that embodiment flux. And the other thing is, I will not take into account this technology or these techniques, and then I'm just going to let it happen or not do nothing, but just be there as a receiver, as a giver, or spectator. And that will happen.
In the present.
Yes. Or in the past.
Or in the past. Oh, say something more about that.
Yeah, I love that.
You love the past.
No, I love to that, when in Tantra, most of the time they say, okay, be in the here and now. Well, I believe that Tantra, it can take you there in a time and space that happen, and then says, okay, I will go there. I will revisit that timeline, and I revisit that space and what it makes me happen here in the now. And I will fragment it what it happened, and I will try to say yes, no, no, yes, not that way, this way, with the knowledge that I have right now. And say, whatever happened in the past that was there, I can modify it and it will not affect me now. And I can say, I'm in gratefulness. I love it. I love that happened. And then modify. And instead of being affected from the past in a negative way, you can do it in a positive way. Then the Tantra can take you there.
To transform
from that timeline, this present time.
And that was something we did also this morning.
Yes, exactly.
On this beautiful journey. Yeah, really beautiful. So I think for the listeners who is maybe new for this, talking about life force and this sensations, I will say it is. And you can you say something? How can you open up to feel more or experience more? Because it's many layers on that.
I will tell you something that I will say all the time to the people that come to see me or to do trainings with me. I think the easiest way to go into Tantra is to be like a kid. That you say, okay, I'm seeing the light, and then get approximated to the light and feel it, sense it, like you are a newborn, and then when they telling you to touch somebody, don't touch by touching. Just feel what is provoking on you through the senses of your skin. Once you're feeling that in your skin, then go to the sensation that it provokes on you. What are the emotions that are triggering on you? And from there, try to communicate those emotions back to the person that is receiving your touch and see what it happened. And see, feel the skin, sense the skin, observe the skin, and observe both of your reactions just by a simple touch of the tip of your finger. And from there started everything, like the breathing. Just feel how the air is coming in and it's coming out. Just as simple as that. And then from the simple things that are in life, it comes the deep experience that we can have in Tantra.
Yeah. So what is your, like, you talk about the light. I think the first experience with the to feel life force? Your first experience of that, if you can say something.
After the experience that I have in Mexico, I have a second experience after 4 months in a body electric training in Cancun, Mexico. And I'm telling you this because in Mexico, we are in survival mode most of the times. And we caught a lot of sensations.
Do you want water?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are in survival mode all the time. And we caught most of the emotions and senses sometimes. We are very happy, we are very emotional, but when you go inwards, it takes a lot to feel inwards and to be absorbing the embodiment of sensations inwards. And I went to this workshop. It was 4 days, how to do conscious touch, and what they call bioelectric. And then the experience was just to give massage and receive massage with consciousness, but also with energy. And for the first 4 days, I just was giving and receiving massages, but nothing was happening. You know, it was a massage sensations, that's it. Merely just the touch sensation of somebody touching my skin. The last session that it was to show a forehead massage, they put me as a model in front of 30 people, more or less. And then it was the teacher and the assistant. And they did massage on me. And when I started to do the massage, something started to happen. First of all, I feel like electricity in my body. My skin was starting to shivering. And then something is starting to trigger in my emotions. I didn't know what was happening. When they put me face up, for me was a very embarrassing moment. In that moment, I have a hard on, you know, and then I was in front of people, and I didn't want. I was feeling ashamed. First of all, then the teacher says, "No, don't feel ashamed," and I start to cry. First of all, because what he told me, he say, "Don't be worried. We have unlocked your life force energy. This is what is to be alive." Say you have been blocked. You have blockages. You have emotional blockages, but also you have sexual blockages. You know that you have been frigid for a long time. And I was like, what is he saying? I'm not frigid. And then say, don't worry. That's your sexual energy. That's your life force energy circulating. And I was, then afterwards, my heart got open and it was like whole complete life force energy came. It was like completely my whole body was shaking. I didn't know what to do. And then they bring me down, just relax. For that moment, I didn't know that was in depression. In that moment, I don't know that I was nullified sexually. And I didn't have no connection to my body. And neither to my emotions, completely emotions. Then that's life force energy. When you try to see what makes you alive and to get emotional and be driven by that, that's life force energy. And it's very powerful, you know, because it makes us happy, makes us to go a state of bliss, but also makes you liberate a lot of things that are within the body.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, that was deep. And then when somebody asks me what is life force energy, I say, you know, it's the source of what you are made of, but embody it and feeling it, you know, and get a thrill about it. And it's there.
Yeah. And my experience is also that when you work with people, like the first step, it's when the energy starts to flow, you also start feel a lot. So
Yeah.
that's a quite powerful start for many of us
Yes.
to feel all the feelings, and also many of us get a little bit like crazy
Yes.
because the box expanding a lot. And
Yeah, I have had the experience of one client that he had a Kundalini awaken.
mm,
And myself, I have never seen a Kundalini awaken before. And it happened with a client. I didn't know what to do. I was not prepared to have somebody that it was completely connected to everything, happy, content, move, sensible, and then completely in a different state of mind. Then the life force energy can create that,
mm,
you know?
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you play. Yes, we are like child.
Yeah.
So we play. But it's also very strong things we work with. It's
Yes.
very powerful.
You know, when you are doing Tantra, as we said, it's very transpersonal and transversal. What does it mean this? That you can go to things that are really basic, like how to love, how to be loved, but also you can go to deep experience that can be like, for example, shock or traumas that we have.
Yeah.
Human beings, we have 5 levels of memory that come from the womb of your mother until you reach your adulthood. And they're imprint in every part of our body, in our organs and mind. And when we do Tantra, we awaken those memories, good and bad.
Mm.
Then the Tantra is very strong because you can awaken things that they were dormant, but they were affecting our conduct. And you know that they are there. And with that simple act of touching, hug, embracing, dancing, meditating, breathing, or doing yoga,
Mm.
it comes alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the power of what Tantra is, no? That with a simple, very simple experience, you can liberate things that are affecting us or we don't remember.
Yeah. So many times you don't have words on what's going on or happening
Yes, exactly.
because it's so deep or early or
Yeah.
beyond.
Yes,
You were born also, like you
exactly.
said, from your mother or from even the generation before also. So
Yes,
could be, yeah.
lots of the times we go there,
Mm.
the epigenetics, that we are product of humanity, but also we are product of a family line.
Mm.
And those things that were happening with our family also we reproduce in our life, or
Mm.
we inherit as things that they were doing wrong or they were affecting them. And now we have to either to fix it, recognize them, liberate it, or balance it.
Mm.
And it's part of our journey as human beings.
Yeah. When you say that, I think Tantra is also like just to being human.
Yes.
And Tantra also includes all of that many of us have suppressed from a very early age, like the sexuality or the feelings, emotions, to say yes to your body. It's a lot
Mhm.
of that in Sweden, especially, but in many other countries also. And Tantra more allowing, not only Tantra, but it's a lot of that to to what do you say, to include all the parts of yourself
Yes, exactly.
and others.
I believe in these modern times, there's a lot of things happening within the world that Tantra is a way experience again humanity, to experience yourself and to say yes to other things, say no to other things, but exactly to help us in order to be balanced
Mm.
in the way that you need to balance. Maybe sometimes you need to do other things that are out of the box in order to be balanced, or constrict yourself in a
Mm.
box in order to be in balance.
Mm. Mm. Just to check the time, because you also talk when you start about your path and your way of Tantra. You also talk about sacred sexuality. If you would say something about that, because for me that's like very beautiful, and one of the things why I do also this podcast.
Me, sacred sexuality is one of the most powerful tools that Tantra has, because it's not only about the arousal or the excitement that you can have with somebody interconnecting through a sexual act. Because, and this is sometimes where something is wrong when we talk about sex. You know, sex is a concept and a word. But for us in Tantra, to look to somebody into the eyes can be a sexual act, and not being touching or just moving my breath work with you or my energy with you can be as an intimate of a like a sexual act. For me, sacred sexuality is a way to connect to human beings in order to go far beyond the normality and interconnect emotions, to connect the soul, and being in a nice entanglement to become themselves, either separately or they're becoming one. Um, for me, it has been a very beautiful journey, sacred sexuality, because allowed me to see how I can love myself in order to love somebody that is my partner,
Mm.
but also to love my family.
Mm.
Because if I didn't touch myself and feel myself, I cannot appreciate what my mother had been taught me to love.
Mm.
Um, right now, for the last, it's going to be 7 years, I have been investigating what is, for example, Tibetan Kama Sutra, that is part of sacred sexuality, and is to use life force energy to create an experience that is completely different from a sexual act, but it's a sexual act, you know, how to kiss in a different way, how to embrace in a different way, how to create out of one simple hug, one huge orgasm. And then that orgasm take you to supraconscious state,
Mm.
to an spiritual path. And that's where sacred sexuality happens. When you can take one act like sex in order to become connected to the divine, but also connect to supraconscious,
Mm.
connected to the source.
Mm. So I think the listeners, if you will say something, how you can start to take one or two steps into this path. For me, it's like also a path to start with the sacred sexuality and open up more for that.
I think one of the first acts, and I have done some exercise in Instagram about it,
Mm.
and I think first being consciousness first of your body and how the process of connecting to your body, not with touching, just to feel it, perceive that
Mm.
first, and then perceive how is the pleasure to be connected to it, and how is the pleasure of connecting to your clothes, how is the pleasure to be connected to this light or to this moment, and what is provoking on you erotically. Erotica means that is producing pleasure. I think the one of the first thing that humans we have unplugged is simple pleasure, and the simple pleasure can be taking me to a sensual state, and from sensual state to a sexual state of awareness, and from a sexual state to a sacred state. And I think the first thing to start is with your body, then after with genitalia, how you connect with your genitals, not to arouse, but really to know them. And how this connection of the genitals is connected to the technology of your body. You know, for example, to sense your testes and the connection to the ears, the testes and the connection to your breathing pattern. Because when you touch the testicles or when you touch the labia of a woman, immediately affects the breathing pattern of yourself. And you affect the circadian rhythm of your endocrinal system just to be touching there. And this is like magic, you know, for me. And to connect to genital in a different way, or how you connect genitals and heart. How's that connection? How you desire, how you wish a person. Where is coming that wish from? You know, let's start from the like kids, like teenagers. How it works my erections, how it works my arousal in my lips, how and when I started to produce liquid down there, and where is coming when I desire somebody, where is coming from, and why I desire. I think this is the first step, just to more or less start to fragment my sexuality. Simple.
And to really allow yourself to feel everything and really be aware of what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah, it's many layers about that. There's many layers. And for me, it looks like a never-ending story.
Yeah.
Because it's even deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
No, thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak and to be in your podcast.
So where can we find you, Anand?
Well, I have a website that is called truetantra.eu. I have Instagram that is Tantra Digit 4, MEN, Tantra for Men. The beginning of my path, I just specialize on men. And in the middle of my path, I say, not only men. And then, but I keep the name Tantra for Men. And then you can find me there. My home base is between Madrid and Amsterdam. And but you can, sometimes I'm around the world. I do sacred pilgrims also. Go to Egypt, to Mexico. And since 10 years ago, I started to do shamanism in combination with Tantra. And basically, I have a school in Poland in which I do once a month one training regarding Tantra and shamanism.
Can you just, before we end, say something about how you put these two together, Tantra and shamanism? Because I have also done a deeper journey with that two together, and that's really beautiful because it's also a lot of rituals and yeah. And I like that very much. Yeah.
Well, for me, shamanism is the first act of the humanity in order to start to know themselves and have wisdom. Shaman means the one that knows, and everybody on us, there's a shaman. And shamanism comes from primordial times, very primitive acts. In these acts, these sacred acts, rituals, you connect to energies that are there and you connect to your own energy. Tantra by itself has a lot of shamanism within because it's part of the rituals that we do in Tantra. Some of them are to the elementals. Sometimes we use fire, water. And when you join Tantra and shamanism together, you started to create. Sometimes in Tantra, we have esoterica. No? Esoterica means something supranatural.
Mm.
And in shamanism, we are connected to that word. And some of the things that I could not explain with Tantra, I can explain with shamanism.
Mm.
Like going to past lives, going to my spiritual self faster, going an astral trip. Things that they were already talking with Tantra Shastra, for example.
Mm.
Tantra Shastra use the life force energy and sexual energy to meanings that are within, but also out,
Mm.
like magic.
Mm.
Magical acts with sexual energy.
Mm.
That's called red lust.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful to do things like this, no?
Mm. I can feel your passion for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican. My grandmother was Jackie,
Ah, yeah.
yeah, a North American tribe. And my father was Spirita. He had the gift to see you and to read you.
Mm.
And you know that in Tantra we have the cities. That is part of magic also.
Mm.
And if you go into India and you say, you know, I practice Tantra kaula, they say, oh, you practice magic.
Mm.
And we don't know in West side of the world that also Tantra has a lot of magic and a lot of shamanism within.
Mm. Yeah, that's really beautiful. So we end with what's the best with the Malmö Tantrafestival? Because I know you like this place very much. So yeah, just say something about that also.
Yes, you know what I was talking to Natalie and with her colleague is that, you know, I feeling home.
Mm.
You know, it's feeling like come to a family. You know, Tantra, I was in another Tantra festivals, and also I was in another urban Tantra festivals. But this one is was like the organizers make you feel that you are part of a community that is there. Even though I didn't know the community of Malmo, but this feeling like, okay, I'm welcome here.
Mm.
And I feel the energy. And we are in a building that has different storage, but it feels sacred already since
Mm.
the beginning. And I have been doing other festivals in which you are in a hotel and different buildings, different floors, and you don't feel integrated.
Mm.
And feel down here was very nice. It
Mm.
was like magic was happening.
Mm. Yeah, I have the same feeling. It's a beautiful community and beautiful feeling here. You feel safe and yeah, this community thing,
And
family.
and everybody's taking care of each one.
Mm.
You know, we have emotional support that is taking care of everybody, and then they are there for you. And
Mm.
but also it's like you want to keep being here.
Mm. It's a lot of feelings going on here
Yes.
in everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anand.
No,
Really,
thank you very much to
yeah,
you.
so beautiful to meet you.
It was an honor to meet you and an honor to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.